This is the Treu Real Estate 911 podcast with Lisa Treu. Lisa will share up-to-date real estate information with you that you need to know.
Welcome to Treu Real Estate 911. It's Brian Mudd along with your local real estate pro, Lisa Treu. And as we get going today, if you're not already at TreuRealEstate911.com, well, do yourself a favor and go there, because once you do, you'll see the best local real estate resource available to you is on that website, including the ability to search the MLS in real time, just like a real estate pro. The Treus pay for that so you can peruse just like they do. You don't have to worry about finding something that you're interested in only to find out that it sold a month ago. So the Treus, ready to help you as well. Buying, selling, if you just have questions, 561-972-8326. That's 561-972-8326. You know, Lisa, I get a sense that in the early going here in 2020, we are continuing to see South Florida's real estate market really moving pretty well.
Yeah, so Brian, the people that are doing the right things are having the success that they want. That's both buyers and sellers. So sellers that have their properties priced right, marketed perfectly, and the condition for what buyers expect are getting offers and getting them sold. And buyers that are getting the proper pre-approval, having a buyer's agent, and making the right offer, not just price, that is obviously a concern to most sellers, but also terms. They are actually winning in multiple offers as well. So it is a great time to be a buyer and seller out in the marketplace if you get the formula correct.
And Lisa, what I'm hearing still is that move-up buy opportunity probably is really working well right now.
The move-up buy is very exciting this year because there's a lot of changes to the lending. There's new products. There are higher limits to have a conforming loan. There's just a lot of reasons to buy that dream home. Many are able to sell in a seller's market and buy in a buyer's market. It's just really an amazing time to be a buyer and a seller.
And as great as that is, before the move-up buy comes that first-time buy. And that's some of what you'd like to discuss on today's show. As we take a look at the local real estate market, increasingly we're seeing millennials and even just younger adults generally in this economy with a near record low unemployment, record high wages that are rising faster than the rate of inflation. More people are just able to engage more in the housing market than they might have realized. So tell us a little bit about first-time home buyers and some of your guidance for them as they're considering that purchase.
One of the biggest mistakes that most people are making is not making a purchase. And millennial buyers are now starting to realize that not only can they, but they should be buying their first home. 75%, Brian, of millennials say they want to buy a home, but they just don't know where to start. They look at the process and they get lost in it, so they sometimes just renew that lease because it's easier. And yet, with the changes out there to the loan process and with our team, it doesn't have to be an overwhelming process. We can break it down into really a few easy steps, and our buyers are finding their dream home with only viewing 4 to 5 homes on average. There is some really amazing opportunities out there, and we want to help anybody who said, I want to consider buying, show you how easy it is to get into your new home.
Lisa, we have long talked about how if you're going to remain in place for a minimum of 3 years, it is almost always a no-brainer to buy rather than rent. Is that still the case today?
Yes, all the numbers are showing that it is definitely smarter to purchase. Many times you can purchase for about the same money with the first, last, and security, and we are still seeing the good news that it's cheaper right now to buy than to rent a similar type of property. And let's face it, you have more control. Your landlord next year, you could love where you live, can just say, you know what, I've changed my mind, I want to sell it. And then you are either forced to pay maybe a higher rent or just have to move out completely. Buying if you're going to be there for a bit, have a stable job, makes perfect sense.
Well, that condition that you just described most certainly happened entering the new year to one of the folks here at the station. And when you take a look at controlling not only where you live, but you talk about the affordability, it really is powerful. And you're talking about it being more affordable to own what you would otherwise be renting. When you take a look at it, one of the obstacles I found informationally, often people discount first, last, and security, how much money that is relative to making a down payment. Is it still the case that for approximately as little as first, last, and security, one would be able to go ahead and use that money as the money they would need down to obtain a loan?
That is true, and there are properties that actually qualify for zero down, and people don't understand that or realize that as well. There are solutions if you have the proper income to get into a property. And let me just remind people, we're coming up on a time when many people will be getting something called a tax refund. When you get that tax refund, think carefully about what you're going to do with that. Instead of going on maybe a vacation or spending it on maybe a TV or something like that, consider possibly either putting it towards your closing costs for your first purchase, or if you already own a home, putting it towards an investment property. Let's use that money to build wealth in real estate.
Good advice, although I'd close my ears at the tax refund part, but that's a personal issue.
Yes.
Now, when we take a look at the lay of the land, you talk about affordability. A lot of people think, it's so unaffordable in South Florida. And we do know that often things, can be a bit more expensive here. But that's not ubiquitously true. Do you have opportunities that exist for people at entry-level price points still?
There are, and one of the things that we always talk to first-time home buyers about is what is the exit plan for the property. When you buy your first home, it is not meant to necessarily be your dream home. Start with what you can reasonably afford with a plan of how do we move to the next property. For example, are you going to keep that property and rent it, or are you going to sell it, take the equity, and invest it into the next property? When you have a plan, it makes it easier on the front end for when you're going to go and sell that property on the back end.
You having this strategy you're talking about makes so much sense. The enemy of this in times previous, you had indicated often HGTV and the like. The shows can be a lot of fun, but people might be a little bit unrealistic wanting their dream home off the bat. Is that still an obstacle, or are you finding people that are a bit more realistic?
Well, I think that many people are watching those shows or even more real, looking at the homes that they've lived in with their parents. And what I always remind them is your parents most likely didn't start there. It's about having a plan and a strategy and building wealth so that over time, each move, you move up. Or maybe you live in that first starter home and buy investment properties so that your investment properties over time fuel your lifestyle. There's a lot of approaches, and we really want to understand our clients' goals. That's why even in selling, we have 3 ways we can help our clients. In buying, we always want to take it down to what are their long-term goals so we can reverse engineer it and create what do we do today to make that happen.
Lisa, I'm always trying to find new ways to reach people informationally. If all other messaging fails and people are still not making the best decisions for themselves, what's another way to potentially reach people? And on this topic, for those that have gotten hung up on, I can't find anything at a particular price or in a particular location that I'm going to be able to afford, whatever the excuse happens to be, what about a lifestyle? In other words, if someone knows the lifestyle they want to live, would you recommend perhaps being able to find a property that fits the lifestyle rather than fits the perfect TV image of what that home's going to be?
Yes, and focus on the things that you can't change. Focus on the location. Focus on the layout. focus on the big ticket items. What I find many buyers get caught up on are the little things that really are easy to fix and improve. So one of the things that we do is we help them see what could be. And again, not with huge changes and huge financial changes, but maybe just little things. And often the reason people love something or don't love something is because of the items that honestly we could fix with a relatively small amount of money and a small amount of time. So focus on that, and then I think the rest all works itself out.
All right, so Lisa, if someone is interested but maybe doesn't want to commit right now, how should they begin that particular conversation with you?
Well, first of all, get on our website. Start looking at what is out there, what the properties are. Call me or send me a message and say, here's what I want to do, here's what I'm thinking, here are my goals. And then again, we'll kind of put the timeline out there that makes sense for someone. And Brian, the exciting news if you're a buyer is it's 16% more affordable than just at the end of 2018.
It's stunning.
I mean, how amazing is that, right? So let's take advantage of that, the higher wages and all the good things that are going on in the economy so that you can be the lucky person that's living in your new home.
And that remarkable difference that Lisa's just talking about, the reason is financing costs. So we have actually seen, though prices have risen throughout South Florida, we've actually seen the cost of borrowing decrease by more than enough to offset the increase in cost of the homes themselves to make relative properties that much more affordable. And the other thing, Lisa, credit scores. I was taking a look at this recently. We have new record high average credit scores. And the average American has a good credit score now at 703. How many people might have more opportunities and lower borrowing costs that maybe didn't even 2 years ago?
Yes, I think that people always are pessimistic about what they can do often. They think their credit is worse. They think they don't have enough money. And I just say, let's get the facts. Let's deal with reality. And if we need to make improvements on something, at least we can put a plan in place so that we know how to do that, so that ultimately in a short period of time, you can achieve your goals.
As I like to say, two sides to stories, one side of facts. Lisa, the Treu Group, they have the facts. So reach out. Buying, selling, if you have questions, they are ready to help you. 561-972-8326. That's 561-972-8326. And again, if you're not already there, go to TreuRealEstate911.com.